Going to start. Greetings, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. This is Celestra's Wisdom with Shelley Celestra, and I'm your host, Ishana Sophia. On this program, Shelley Celestra brings you new tools for spiritual healing. We're coming to you from beautiful northern New Mexico. Thank you for listening today. Today's date is July 28th, 2018. Announcement today, we welcome our listeners to submit questions to Shelley Celestra at our email address, celestranm@gmail.com. Please send your questions about personal or universal healing. Shelley Celestra will be selecting questions that are timely for our audience to hear about universal healing. We'll present these questions and answers on this channel, and your name will remain private. Thank you. And please note, the information on this program is provided for educational purposes only and is not meant to provide medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment, or to take the place of medical care for maladies that are physical, psychological, or emotional. The purpose of this program is to share the research and personal experience of the speakers in spiritual healing by working with our subtle bodies and our own divine energy to bring cleansing, balance, and harmony within. On your journey of self-healing, we hope to help you ground your divinity in your body in order to expand your light. Our goal is your self-empowerment that comes with the knowing and accepting of the truth of your divine self as healer. Shelley, I'm going to turn the mic over to you.
Hello, I'm Shelley Celestra, and I bring you greetings from Divine Source and the United Light Beings of the Great Universe. I've been blessed and continue to be blessed with gifts each day. I hope to share this blessing with you. I will help you access the universe so that you find greater awareness and understanding, as well as learning how to heal yourself. This is a synergistic relationship. As I teach you, you teach me by asking questions that I have to find answers for by accessing the universe. We are blessings for each other. I thank you for being a partner in this spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm. So, Shelley, we decided we were going to review the fracting process, since we had a sound problem last time, and the quantum healing process, the quantum energy healing process. So, would you like to start talking about how we began with grounding and anchoring?
Sure. The first step before doing any process is to make sure that you are in your body, that you're back in your bowl. So the first thing you want to do is make a statement that I ground in my body, my soul, spirit, inner child, and will. This brings you back into focus so that you are in reality and not in a state of illusion. And then you anchor yourself from your Rubeyea, which is the pure heart at the front of the physical heart, and your gyroscopes, which are behind the belly button. They're the things that help keep you in alignment with the universe and the earth. So you anchor from your Rubeyea and gyroscopes to the Rubeyea and gyroscopes at the center of the earth. Many people like to give themselves an image of a long strand of the golden mean thread going from the Rubeyea to the gyroscopes, down through the gyroscopes, the tailbone, down through the earth to the center, that is then anchored at the heart and the gyroscopes inside the earth. And then you anchor going in the opposite direction from your gyroscopes and Rubeyea to the Rubeyea and gyroscopes within Celestra, which is God's heart, with Source's heart. So
it's also the sun?
Celestra is the central sun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so once you've done that piece, you are now really grounded and anchored. That means that you are both one with the earth and one with the universe. Now, to add to that, to make it stronger, then you turn your hands palms up and use your left index finger on your right hand, and you draw a circle that represents Celestra, which is the central sun.
On the palm
of your hand. And then you use your right index finger and you draw a quarter moon on the palm of your left hand. This represents Luna, the moon. Then you place your right hand palm down on top of the left hand. When you do that, that creates the opening for the earth. And then you place the two hands together over your belly button, which is the universe. So now you are one with the universe, with the sun, the moon, and the earth. So you are one with all the flows. There aren't any flows that aren't available to you now. This opens and feeds your entire being with the golden mean energy. And the golden mean energy is what we are originally created from. It's our original blueprint. It is platinum and gold and other minerals, and it is your hormones and chemistry. It's all the things that go into making any kind of being, whether it's a rock or a human or anything else. There is an original blueprint that we're made from.
So when you first described golden mean energy, you talked about the pions, the sparks of energy.
Pions and mitochondria.
Mitochondria. And then you talked about the rainbow rays, which contains all the colors and all the rays. In other words, all the aspects of the divine.
Right, and that means all the aspects of love. So joy, peace, harmony, kindness, understanding, compassion, forgiveness, courage, wisdom. Just the list goes on. It's very long. But it's all the light aspects of the universe, and that's what we're made from. We aren't made from what people would call original sin. That isn't how we were made, and it isn't what we are meant to live. When we are in the dark place, we're in a state of existence, not life. And so the way we use the golden mean helps us bring us back to a state of grace, a state of living.
Okay, so how do we do fracting now?
Okay, so you've already brought in, you're bringing into the palms of your hands, when you have your hands over your belly button, you're bringing in the energy of all four things: the earth, the sun, the moon, and the universe. And this energy is flowing into the palms of your hands. It's flowing throughout your body. But now your hands are these amazing electrical, electromagnetic, magnetic, and kinetic energy users. They are they have the ability to assist you in any process that you do now. Fracting is just the beginning. Then you can use your hands from now on to do all kinds of healing work without touching the body. You can touch the body, but it isn't necessary for most of this.
So this can be used for self-healing or for working on someone else?
Yes, absolutely. Anything I teach you can be used for both. This healing method is about using electrical energies, and actually all your energies, your electrical, electromagnetic, magnetic, and kinetic. It teaches you how to empower yourself in a way that allows you to break through old calcifications in your memory banks, in your mind. When I look inside someone's head where they have strong cycles that they go through, it looks to me almost like a person walking on a record, like on an old-fashioned record player. And this person makes this loop around and around and around this circle over and over again. And when you do fracting, and you are breaking up fracting for your emotions, your mental processes, for all the calcifications in your electrical system, you start breaking this apart so that that loop no longer exists in that state inside your mind. And that's a really powerful thing to have happen, especially for people that have been seriously traumatized. It helps break you out of this old loop of patterns that you cannot let go of. No matter what the trauma is a part of who you are, but what this does is it helps integrate that part of yourself that has been wounded, instead of burying it or waving it like a banner. It instead helps you find peace with it so that you can move forward.
So when you first introduced fracting to us, you mentioned that it's always good to start with the electrical system first, to break up calcifications in the electrical system, which affects all the other systems.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I think you said the next one that would be good would be the limbic system.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's talk about what fracting looks like.
Okay. So fracting, you're using electrical energies through the palms of your hands. And by the way, when we do fracting, golden mean energy at its base is in the fracting. So that means pions and mitochondria are in the palms of your hands, and they're moving through you as you're working with someone else or yourself. So pions are very quick acting energies. They're short lived, but they're brilliant sparks that help wake you up inside. And then the mitochondria, of course, it's the thing that lovingly helps you move stuff out of the way. So all of these things are included in when you do the fracting energy. It's a very powerful tool to use.
But also the rainbow rays, is that right?
Absolutely, the
Okay.
rainbow rays. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So do you want me to be more specific about the rainbow rays?
No, I think we should go ahead and talk about the sound that we use for fracting
Right.
and how that affects the energy.
Okay. So when you're working, especially with the electrical system, you want to use a buzzing sound. So you go zzz. And for everyone, the sound will be slightly different, and it will change as it needs to. Don't hesitate. If you feel a different sound is needed when you're working with someone, please bring that in, because it means that they're needing a little something different to move that out. And by the way, periodically while you are doing fracting, your hands will get too full of the memory of the calcifications you're breaking up. So you take your hands to the side and shake the energy off. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Now when you go zit zit and you're shaking your hands to the side, what that does is it flattens the frequencies, vibrations, and waveforms of that energy so that it's not causing any harm anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's important. So when you're going to do fracting on someone, you begin over the top of the head with your two hands above your head, palms downward, and then you start doing the zzz. So you zzz.
How far away are your hands from the head?
It's different. You really have to use your best judgment on that. I recommend that you try to be above the corona, and so that means anywhere from 2 to 6 inches above the head.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that
So
way you're
allow
not invading their personal space.
So when we're doing fracting, we allow ourselves to be intuitive, to allow the sound to change if it needs to, or to allow the way we work with our hands to change if we feel that needs to happen.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we start at the top of the head.
Mm-hmm. And you start with your and if you'll continue with that, I'll talk through it, okay? So you come down from the top of the head, over the face, and once you reach the neck, shoulder area, you then go out through the shoulders to the arms. And then you begin going down the chest, over the stomach, and anywhere you feel that there is a lot of calcification going on, anything that feels stuck or stubborn, you can remain at that area of the body as you continue to buzz to break up the calcifications. And then you move down the front of the legs. Until you reach the toes. Now you can go ahead and go over the bottom of the feet.
So when you're doing this on yourself, you're going to have to bend your knee and put your heel on your thigh, and then do the top and bottom of your foot.
Okay.
I just shook the energy off my hands. Go ahead.
Okay. So once you've finished the front, then you would have, you would either stand up so that you can run your hands down your back and down to the bottom of your feet, or you would ask someone else to assist you with this process by doing that for you, or you doing it on someone else, so that you're clearing the fractured energies. That's why it's called fracting, is because you're healing all the fractures that have been created in the body, in the emotions, the mental, everything that can become out of balance in the body. Things that have blocked the lymph system, things that have blocked the limbic system. And after you've done the electrical, I really recommend that you wait at least a day before trying to work on other systems. But then you can go on to the limbic, the lymph system, the hormones, so that means all your glands.
Endocrine, circular. I'll just read the list that I have, okay? Limbic system, endocrine system, nervous system, lymphatic system, circulatory system, immune system, respiratory system, digestive system, urogenital system, skin and musculoskeletal systems are just some of the systems that you can work on in the body. And you can work on specific areas of the body or patterns of emotions and memories and thoughts.
Anything that feels like it sticks inside you, you can work on. You can work on an individual set of emotions that may be around a trauma. So you can be really specific with this. And when you use the specifics is when your hands are over your belly button, over the God's eye.
You mean when we state our intention?
Yes, that's what I was getting ready to say.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. When you state your intention at the beginning, you would state, I clear and heal the electrical system of fractures. Or then you would state the next time, I use fracting to heal the limbic system. And what that means is it means you're healing the body of fight or flight that ends up causing a lot of cortisol and adrenaline and other chemicals to rush into the body that end up creating havoc in the system. They end up, the way I look at it is when those energies die, especially cortisol and adrenaline, that dead energy connects to other processes in the body, like it will connect to adipose tissue, and it will hold on to it. So by doing this kind of technique, what you're doing is you are breaking apart all that deadened energy so that it can be flushed out of the system instead of remaining a part of you. Anything else you need?
You mentioned recently that you discovered that you can fract not only adipose fat tissue but also mucus that builds up in the body and kind of gels, becomes gelatinous. And
it can even harden. It can become hard like a rock even.
And so you just said that emotions and hormones and everything can be locked up in that. So does fracting always work on calcifications in any body system?
Yes, and that means subtle body too. That means our energetic bodies. It can be.
Emotional body has calcifications in a different kind of way?
Yeah.
Interesting, huh?
It's still a calcification, yeah. What it does is once we have a tear somewhere in our system, whether it's in the physical body or in one of our etheric bodies, what it does is once we've got a tear, the calcification begins because it's trying to fix itself. It's like scar tissue. It's trying to find a way to mend it. But it doesn't work if you don't heal whatever the separation was to begin with.
Okay, so in my notes here, it says that we can point our hands toward our body for self-healing with
Mhm.
fracting, but we can also point our hands outward toward our energy bubble, our embryo.
Mm-hmm.
And so how would you know when you needed to send it to the embryo? Is that for the subtle bodies?
Most of the time, yes. But it can
In
also...
other words, emotional, mental,
Yes.
what's the other ones? Corona? And
Yeah, in the
etheric?
corona. Mhm.
Okay.
So you can send that energy into the umbilical cord to the embryo or directly to the embryo, either way. But you can also then send things like things that are connected to adipose tissue can be very difficult to release. So you can send those through the belly button into the umbilical cord to the embryo, so that the embryo can transform and use it as energy, because it will actually use the things that we send into it as energy to, once it's been transformed, to keep alive and working on our behalf.
Okay, would you repeat what you just said about sending it someplace?
Oh, you send it through your belly button.
You send what?
You send anything attached to the adipose tissue.
Okay.
So it can be anything or anything else, but you can see adipose tissue is really hard to get rid of.
Yes.
They know now that most people do it through the breath. That's the way it exits. I know, it's very interesting, isn't it? So, but one of the ways you can get rid of it is by sending it through your belly button, your umbilical cord, to the embryo.
To our energy bubble, the embryo.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do?
The embryo uses it as energy. It transforms it and uses it as energy to continue the healing process.
Okay, so it gets transmuted.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay, so before we close our session today, I want to add that we can send fracting to our loved ones, and a good time to do that is when they're sleeping, and just point our palms outward toward their energy bubble, their embryo, to do that and make your zzz sound.
Yes, and remember, always start with your hands over the God's eye at the belly button.
Mm-hmm.
State your intention, and then send the energy outward. You can do this for groups of people. You can do it for the government. You can use this to assist in healing any system. But it works, of course, easiest on family because we share DNA.
Okay, would you like to make any closing statements before we do our closing?
No, I think that's it.
I think we did a really good job of explaining this today. I feel really happy with, I think we made it digestible for people. Would you like to say your closing prayer?
Certainly. In the divine language, Bo Elehu es ad balu Eleol est ameon, meaning may universal harmony, peace, and understanding live in you always.
Thank you for that beautiful blessing, Shelley Celestra. We also want to thank our listeners for joining Celestra's Wisdom today. We hope you will find this information helpful on your journey and that you'll tune in again to see what's new. Please consider subscribing to this channel to follow the sequence of Shelley Celestra's wisdom. To follow the sequence of Shelley Celestra's lessons on new tools for universal healing. This is your host, Shauna Sophia, sending you peace and love and healing to all beings from my heart to yours. Good day, and thank you for your presence with us. May universal harmony, peace, and understanding live with you always.